Hello. Pardon my critical social justice language. My name is Kenneth Hughes, and this is my ethnography. As a black man raised in a middle class family where education, faith, family, and education, as well as athletics, were pillars of my life, the path toward teaching was shaped by these values very early on. But it wasn't always a straight path for me. I've experienced both academic success and struggle. Those experiences have built my empathy and passion for helping students who may be misunderstood, underestimated, or oftentimes forgotten. Um, the reason I chose to be a teacher was because I wanted to give back the same wisdom and support I received from educators that helped shape my life. Right? They held us accountable, but they never left me or any of my friends behind. They gave me space to fail and the feedback to improve. Zaretta Hammond says dependent learners need a teacher who will not rescue them, but will strengthen their brain's ability to do more complex thinking. And these educators for me in middle school and high school did that. And that's exactly what I want to be able to do for my students as well. I want to teach Algebra 1 to high school underclassmen, and I also want to be a football coach as well. Um, some people will say, why algebra? Because math can seem intimidating to a lot of younger underclassmen, especially coming from middle school. But I want them to see it as something that they use every day. I want to help students see the relevance of math. I want to help shift their perspective from I'll never use this in my real life to I use this every day. Um, and I also want to be a steady adult presence who not only teaches content but helps build their confidence in math beyond just, oh, I'm getting a grade. And on the football field as well, beyond just, oh, I'm playing well. I just want to be a steady presence to help these kids fulfill the dreams and, the goals that they have for themselves. Um, Critical social justice isn't just a piece of teaching, it's a foundation of teaching. Culturally responsive teaching truly matters to make an impact on students. Hammond puts it best, culturally responsive teaching is about building cognitive capacity, not lowering the standards. That means holding students to a higher expectation while understanding their lived experiences. I want my students to know they're seen, heard, and supported, not just as learners, but as whole human beings. Okay. Self-awareness is everything as a teacher, honestly. Um, I'm still believe I'm learning my strengths, like building rapport and being able to read a room as a teacher. But I also know my growth areas as well. Um, I think I need to work on being able to clearly explain the work to students and working on holding students accountable without pushing them away from me. Um, Angel Valenzuela said in her writing that students want to be cared for as a whole human being, not just as academic achievers. That means caring for every student, not just the ones who are succeeding. And I think that's something I'm going to have to work on, making sure that I provide care to every student regardless of where they stand in the classroom, because that's what truly matters most. Being able to help students understand that we're here for them whether they're struggling or they're succeeding at high levels in the class. Early on in my teaching journey, I didn't really believe I had any biases towards students. As a substitute teacher, I used to think that for the most part I'm good with all students regardless of how they act in the classroom. But as time has gone on, I've come to realize that I do actually have my own biases. Um, I've caught myself being less patient with students who may want to joke around a little bit more in the classroom or seem unfocused and cause a stir within the classroom. You know, but now as I take the time to realize this bias, I've learned to pause and not just pause and like let them continue going and act crazy in the classroom, but to pause and pay attention to what they're saying and doing. Realizing that maybe the student is bored of the work they're doing, or they just truly don't understand it and they need extra time. I try my best now because those students need just as much care as everyone else, and just as much belief as well. You know, if they understand that I'm there for them even when they're joking around or may not be focused, they'll know that I'll be there for them when they are focused and they need the help they truly need in the classroom. Lisa Delpit reminds us, warm demanders understand the power of belief, believing in their students and helping students believe in themselves. And that's, to me, that belief is what helps students grow, and that's what keeps me grounded in teaching. Understanding that even with my biases, I can grow past those things and help these students become the best version of themselves they can within my classroom. I have a few goals for my first year of teaching. Um, Number one is helping my students find a reason to enjoy math. I think that's critical because a lot of kids view math as something they don't like, and I want math to be something that they can truly embrace and enjoy. Secondly, I want to be able to connect math to the real world. My primary way of doing this is through weekly explorations and everyday applications. Whether that be students working on projects that relate to business or showing them someone who's a businessman or a mathematician who's changing the world with their work in math. I want to apply this work to their everyday life. I don't want it just to be stuck in the classroom. And third, I want to build a classroom ecology where every student feels invested in our community. We will co-create the classroom culture together. Um, and I believe that's going to be very important because if everyone feels welcome in the classroom, then everyone will be able to learn at their highest capacity. And that's my goal as a teacher, to help students not only view math as something that they can do every day, but as something that they actively want to learn and use. Okay. So along with those big goals, there's obviously going to be a lot of anticipated challenges and things that I can do to kind of feed off of for support. Um, One challenge that I guarantee to anticipate is the lack of time. The concern that I'm not going to be able to finish every lesson plan or get everything done. Helping the student who learns way faster than everyone else and helping the student who learns much slower than everyone else. Because their learning paths matter just as much. And I want to be able to make sure that I find that happy medium where everyone's able to stay the course and stay focused within the classroom, and be able to learn. A few resources I may lean on for support um, around me during my early teaching days as a first year teacher will, of course, obviously be the core teaching competencies I've learned here at CGU. Um, I will also be looking from these are the people I'm going to be teaching. So if there's something I'm doing that they obviously can see is not helping them, I would love to know that and be able to change that within my classroom. And lastly, mentorship. Other educators, coaches, counselors, principals, anyone on my campus or anyone that I can reach out to with a phone call that I may know personally that's a teacher. I will use them as a source of just help and additional support whenever I have questions or concerns about how to run a classroom or even how to deal with certain students in different situations as well. Um, with their guidance, I think I'll be able to not only help grow as a teacher myself, but help grow the classroom ecology and in closing, to grow as a critical social justice educator, I must stay open to learning every day. And I think that's going to be a long term goal for me as an educator as I continue on through this journey. To remain open to knowledge and learning. The National Equity Project says that we must learn how implicit bias operates and take action to interrupt inequitable practices. And that's also part of this harsh journey. Making sure that every student is treated fairly and equitably. I want to be able to teach with empathy and also hold students to high expectations. My goal is to help every student believe in themselves while also believing in their classmates as well. With that being said, I want to thank you again for this opportunity to record my ethnography. I want to say education is transformation. And if we lead with equity, excellence, and love, I believe we'll be leaving these students in a better place. Thank you. You don't have to do anything else, honestly. That's why, like, I'm not gonna lie. That's why Philadelphia, like, as much as I love here, Philadelphia is by, like, I gotta give it to them. They got the food, dude.
Oh yeah, well yeah. Honestly, I think it's better than New York food.
We haven't seen enough of it.
You know, we might have to
We
try
got we
that.
got to try it one more time. But we've been to Philly enough to know, like, yeah, they're really like that.
Yeah.
They really are like that.
Okay, so I realized that the audio got corrupted in a portion of the anticipated challenges and support um, piece of my assignment. So I did want to come back and explain my most anticipated challenge. I believe my most anticipated challenge I will face as an educator is a lack of time. Um, Not every student learns at the same pace, and with certain benchmarks within the system, there's expectation to be able to move at a certain pace within the classroom. And I am concerned that I don't want to work too slowly or too quickly to where students don't retain the information. And I don't want to leave students in a situation where they're either bored in the classroom because we're moving too slow or or completely confused in the class because we're moving way too fast. So my concern is that I'll be able to move at the proper pace to where everyone's able to learn everything and retain the information while also staying on pace with what the expectations are for them to learn within the school year.